Good morning, my name is Jack Lanhart. I'll be your instructor to give you your demonstration on how to properly set up a welding machine and use the proper PPE for welding. Since you've already covered chapters 2 and 9 in the welding book in the classroom, we're going to actually give you the demonstration out here. Let's start with the safety of setting up the welding machine. Okay, with the welding machine, first thing we want to do is make sure that the power's off. This one has a switch on the back, push down is off. I can also verify that the cord, which is right here, the cord is disconnected from the wall outlet, so the power is completely off. Now that we know the machine's properly turned off, let's go ahead and check our electrode holder, our leads, and our connectors to make sure that they are in good working condition. So let's go ahead and look at our electrode holder, which is right here. We're going to look at the tongs. We're going to look at the end piece here where we're going to put our electrode. That appears to be in good working order. We're going to look down the welding leads, make sure there's no cuts, tears, or broken wires in here. That looks pretty good. Then we're going to want to double check our connector here. Okay, our connector looks really good. This is brass, so these are things that get damaged and worn out. So that looks to be in good shape. I'm going to slide this off to the side here. Now, since we're doing that, let's go ahead and check our ground. Our ground clamp. There's many variations of this ground clamp. This just happens to be one we are using. So again, we want to make sure that the spring works. Okay, spring works good. We want to make sure that all the pieces here are connected, solid, tight. Again, we're going to check the lead connection, just like we did on our electrode holder. So again, good working order, and we do have another connector. Connector's right here. Again, same thing, it's brass. We want to make sure that that's really good. With these, if you can see that notch right there, that nipple, we want to make sure that's in good shape. Now that we've done that, let's kind of take a quick peek at the machine. Where we connected the machine is right here and here. Just verifying that that's in good condition. Them look pretty good. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up our machine and check that our polarity is proper. So doing that, we kind of need to know what type of a welding electrode are we using.
70/18 and 1/8 inch diameter.
So that would mean what polarity are we going to run that electrode?
Reverse polarity or electrode positive.
Okay, so that's perfect. So we do have our ground clamp here. Since I have that in my hand right now, I'm going to go ahead and connect that. Again, we verified the power is off by the switch and by the cord. So electrode positive, I currently have my ground clamp. This is going into the negative, and you can see on the machine it's clearly marked plus or minus. So I'm going to plug my negative in. Installing this, that's why that notch is, and you give it a twist. This is brass, so you don't need to crank on that really tight, just snug. Now I'm going to hook up my electrode holder, which was positive. Remember, electrode positive, right? Okay, there's our electrode. Again, we're going to go ahead and put that in there. Give it a turn here. Again, just nice and snug. Now I'm going to just keep this off to the side while we go through the rest of our stuff here. Machine's still off, so it's okay that that's sitting like that. We got our box of rods right here. Okay, that's how we knew what polarity we needed to weld at. I'll put that off to the side here. Now that our machine's set up, before we go ahead and turn everything on, we need to address our PPE, our personal protection equipment. Okay, I'm going to slide this over. First thing we're going to cover is our welding helmets. Okay, the welding helmet's going to protect our face, our neck area. Underneath our welding helmet, we also need to make sure we wear our safety glasses. Now currently these don't have my side shield, so I will have to use regular safety glasses to protect the sides of my eyes. Okay. The helmet itself, we want to go ahead and look at the plastic, make sure there's no cracks, no gouges. This particular helmet's an older style. Make sure that it's got all the protective lenses. There's a lens right there. There's also two lenses here, a filter lens. And we want to make sure we have the proper shade of lens, which was covered in your class earlier. Make sure that it's got its protective lens there and a protective lens here. That's to prevent any sparks or slag from getting in. So this is an older style. This style here, because most of our work we have to wear a hard hat. So this is my helmet that I would wear at work. This is an auto darkening, which darkens in 1/10,000th of a second. Again, we want to check the plastic, make sure there's no cracks, no gouges, no holes. Make sure it's got its protective lens on the front. When we look on the inside has a protective lens as well. This one is auto darkening again, so we want to make sure before we start welding that the batteries are good. This one here we just pushed by testing, and the camera probably didn't show it, but the lens did change colors. And then we can adjust our shade and our settings right here. There's many different variations of these, so if you're using this type, make sure you go through it and make sure you check the owner's manual to make sure you're wearing it or using it properly. The next piece, since we've already talked about the eyeglass or the eyewear, we also want to protect our ears. Wearing hearing protection not only protects it from the noise, but if we're laying on our side, we might get hot sparks down our ears. This is just a common ear mold that you roll up, you stick it in your ear. It has a noise reduction rating of 33. It also will help protect against the noise of the loud welding machines. You could wear ear muffs as well. Here's a set of ear muffs. The only drawback to wearing ear muffs, what I don't like, is sparks could rest along here and then burn the sides of your ears. Again, depends on the application. You might have to wear these versus earplugs. The next piece we're going to talk about before we go any farther is we're going to talk about welding gloves. Now, depending on the amperage you're welding at, you may need a thicker pair like I have here. Again, we want to make sure that the stitching is in good shape. Want to make sure there's no holes, no tears. Check them both. And then we want to make sure that they fit loosely, not so tight that you can't hold the electrode holder. Okay, so them fit pretty comfortable. Again, this particular style has a lot more heat reflection or heat absorption ability. If you're doing a little bit lighter type of welding, like TIG welding, we have a thinner pair. Okay, again, we want to just kind of go through, check the stitches to make sure there's no tears, no holes. Make sure they're in good shape. Check the other one. Stitches again. Again, we also want to double check and make sure that they fit properly as well. Okay, and this pair fits pretty good. The next piece we need to look at is we need to protect our arms and our upper body, maybe, depending on the type of welding. So there's a couple pieces we can use. The two that I have here to show you is we have sleeves. So we have a sleeve. This actually slides on. I put my arm through it. The elastic here holds it up here. Got protective leather from the sparks and the heat. So again, stitching, check to make sure there's no burn holes, make sure there's no tears, make sure it fits properly. Again, what you want is to keep all your, you don't want exposed skin, so you cover that up over your sleeve, just like so. Then when you wear your glove, you're going to do the same when I show you the welding coat, but your gloves will actually go on the outside to help protect from the sparks getting in there. That's why we have a gauntlet style, just like so. Then you would put your helmet on and you're ready to go. So now I will show you. So that's the sleeve. They come in a pair. So here's the other one. Again, double check stitching, make sure there's no holes and everything. The last piece I'm going to show is a welding coat. Because one of the things, most welding applications, most welders get burnt right underneath their neck area right here. So we have a full-length coat. These can be worn anytime. There's various types, whether they have leather sleeves, they might be full leather. Most of the time it's very hot anyways. I like the cloth style. It's a flame retardant material. Again, double check. Make sure there's no burn holes, no cuts, no gouges. Check the snaps. Check the front, because that's generally where you're going to get your sparks. Everything looks in good shape. Again, check the snaps. Collar. The other part of the snaps. The other sleeve. Now, to properly put this on, I mean, it's just like putting on a t-shirt. Put it on. Now, the most important part of wearing your welding coat is you need to snap your cuffs in so you don't get sparks down here and here. Okay. Now the next piece, again, remember I said most welders get burnt right underneath here because when their helmet comes down they don't necessarily protect the neck area. So it's very important you button this top button to make sure you prevent your neck from getting burnt. Some guys will actually weld their collars up, kind of like Elvis. Some put them down like so. And then go ahead and button it up. Make sure you have a good pair of work pants or jeans made out of denim. No holes, no cuts, no tears. Make sure you have work boots that don't have no holes, no tears. So, again, then I can put my gloves on. Just like I did with the sleeves, making sure I'm overlapped here. Then when we go ahead and put the helmet on, as you can see when my helmet is on, and when I lower my helmet, it's going to make sure it covers my neck area. See how it's covered really well? So I'm going to go ahead and take my stuff off here and kind of fold it up. So, in review, why is learning how to set up a welding machine proper? Why is it important?
To prevent damage to the machine and to prevent getting shocked.
Perfect. Why would it be necessary to know the importance of PPE?
To prevent radiation burns and to prevent your body from getting burned.
Exactly. And then the last thing, I got two more. Why is it important to know how to wear it properly?
To do our job safely.
And where can I apply this new knowledge that we've just learned?
At school or on the job.
Perfect. Does anybody else have any other questions? No other questions? So now we're going to go ahead, I'm going to follow around the room, and I'm going to assess everybody as they're setting up their machines and picking the proper PPE to wear while they're welding.